Once you got the brake pads in on both front wheels, come over here to the brake pedal and seat it, or you can use your foot. I got a quick tip for you today. I think this will help anybody doing a brake job on any type of vehicle like this. This is a 2004 Toyota Sequoia 4-wheel drive. I'm doing front brakes. I'm going to show you a couple of quick tips that'll make this job go super easy like butter for you. The usual suspects do not apply when it comes to doing this brake job. Typically you'll see this type of caliper spreader tool, or this type for the dual piston caliper. This is a dual piston caliper, this tool here, but not in this case because of the type of caliper design that it is. You're going to need this spreader tool. And I'm going to leave a picture of what the tool is and the link in the description. You'll need needle nose pliers and emery paper to sand the little pins that go in, and then you'll need a 17mm deep socket with a 1/2-inch ratchet wrench and an S-hook to hang the caliper. I'm going to be replacing the rotors today. So these are the tools that you're going to need to do this job properly and to get the job done fast. Once you get these two 17mm headed bolts out that hold the caliper on, take your S-hook and hook it through this upper mount and then hook it to the top of the upper control arm, and it should be good and out of the way. You'll need just a pair of regular needle nose pliers or just regular vice grips like this, and grab on to the outside, just wiggle them until they come out. I thought about putting WD-40 on it or PD Blaster, but I don't want to leave a big mess on this caliper, and I don't want it to slip against the rotor or have any chance of it getting on the rotor or the brake pad or anything like that. So I guess if you really have to, then go for it. Alright, so get your little retainer clips out of the way. And then so at this point, you're going to leave the brake pads in there, and you'll get your brake spreader tool here, and then you'll stick that in about middle of the way. I'll give you a shot of that as soon as I get this set up here. So the reason that you're going to leave these in there is because you're going to use these brake pads to help you push the piston of the caliper back in. And plus it's a dual piston caliper, so you want to get the upper and the lower at the same time. And so by keeping the brake pad in there will help you achieve that. First you start with the middle, and then you'll move up to the top and the bottom. So if you started from the top, what you can do is just loosen it until it can just be enough to slide, and then just slide it down with a little bit of resistance in there like that to get to the bottom one, and then that way the pads won't fall out. So try to keep the spreader in the middle of the pad, not too far this way. Just kind of, just right in there in the middle there. Get yourself a little bit of brake parts cleaner. Clean this rotor off here. Get all this cutting oil off the rotor. Put 2 lug nuts on the rotor, on the lug studs, to help keep the rotor so it doesn't move around. So this is the last tip that's going to help make this job real easy for you. So get a little piece of sandpaper or emery cloth, and then these little pins here, just sandpaper them real good. And either use a little bit of brake parts cleaner, go for it. I think I'm okay like that. So get them all good and clean and get the rust off. This will really make a world of difference when you go to put these pins in. Good enough. So then get your pads in here. Make sure that pad surface is actually touching the rotor, and your squealer tab goes on the inside here, this inside one here. And if I've compressed it enough, we should be good to go. Shouldn't have any issues. Looks like this one might be a bit tight. So this one here is absolutely gorgeous. So what you can do is if you run into a problem and you need to compress a bit more, you could do one at a time with your spreader tool. So get it in there to where it goes to not the front part of the open part of the this caliper piston. Go to the other side of it and put it about in the middle, and then just you can just compress it just a hair more, and then you can back it off and do it for the other one. And I see it moved in about another millimeter or two. All right? Then the other one should go in like butter. Excellent. There we go. Get your retainer pins in, and so these little teeth go here at the bottom right here, and then this just pushes in like that, and then these little kind of curved parts, half moon parts, are facing outside, and then this little tip here is kind of sticking out a little bit. And then do the same thing for the lower one, and then take your cleaned pins and slide them in. And they go in behind this spring like that. Get your pins all the way through, and then your little cotter pins, get those in there. They can go in just like that, and then just do the same thing for the other side. This is exactly how it's going to look like when you're all done, and just don't forget to put in your little cotter pins. There's got one here and one here, and make sure that you put the springs on exactly how I have shown here. Make sure the pads are touching the rotor and they're not in the wrong way, because I think you could put these in the wrong way. So just make sure you got all that right, and you should be good to go. Once you got the brake pads in on both front wheels, come over here to the brake pedal and seat it, or you can use your foot. Just seat the brake pads. Just pump it about maybe 10 times so you can seat the brake pads real good. That way there won't be any issues later on. Double check and just make sure you spin the rotor. Make sure everything sounds good. You're going to hear the pad touching the rotor. That's fine. That's normal. So this is what it's supposed to do. That's how you're supposed to do it.